So when I talk about the Kansas City Chiefs embracing the role of the anti-hero or the villain or vigilante, whatever you want to call it, that right there might have been the most important mindset technique that they applied collectively as a team just this last season. To be able to say, fuck the critics, fuck the haters, we're staying true to what we know we can do and press forward and persevere even in moments of adversity. And you got to remember, there was a point in the season where people were starting to say that the Chiefs might not even make the playoffs. Welcome back to ChampMind Studios. My name is Mitch, and on this channel, I break down the mindset of champions. I discuss some of the most successful people in the world, both past and present, and I dive into their mindset and what makes them great from a psychological perspective. Then I teach you how to apply those very same mental skills into your own lives, into your own goals, as you look to unleash greatness. And today I'm talking about the back-to-back Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. First of all, what a spectacular come-from-behind victory in overtime for the Chiefs at Super Bowl 58 against the San Francisco 49ers last weekend. You can love them, you can hate them, you can say the game is rigged, whatever BS you want to say, but you cannot deny the greatness of the Chiefs. And I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm a New York Jets fan, so I didn't have much of a dog in the fight. I do live here out in Wichita, Kansas. A lot of Chiefs fans out here, but I was rooting for a good game either way. I didn't really care who came out on top. So I am coming at this with an unbiased perspective. You have to appreciate the level of greatness that these Chiefs are producing year in and year out consistently over the past 4 or 5 years. I mean, they have now won 3 Super Bowls since 2020, back-to-back Super Bowls in the last 2 years, and they are now a dynasty in the NFL. Whether you love that, whether you hate that, that is the truth. Patrick Mahomes proved last weekend that he is the greatest quarterback in the NFL today, maybe even will go down as one of the greatest of all time. He's certainly on that pace. And reason for that is you look at how this guy performs under pressure. In these game-winning moments, when the game is on the line, when their ass is against the wall, Patrick Mahomes consistently delivers in those moments. But he's not the only guy to credit to the success of the Chiefs. So I'm going to talk about pretty much the entire team today and how these guys come together to build this dominant powerhouse that they have become. But before I dive into that, folks, if you can go ahead and smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that notification bell because you don't want to miss out on the journey that I'm going to take you on here on ChampMind Studios. I'm breaking down some of the most dominant champions in all different walks of life, not just the sports world, but I'm talking about business CEOs, I'm talking about authors, I'm talking about presidents. I mean, I'm going all over the place. And we're going to take your life to the next level. Don't come here to get motivated. You come to this channel to get elevated. That's what it's all about. And I'm building a community here where we're going to lift each other up. We're going to empower each other and take our game to that next level. Now that I got that call to action out of the way, let's break down these Kansas City Chiefs. You know, a couple of days ago, I went on my Instagram, @SargeAmerica, by the way, cheap plug. And I posted on my story, I said to my followers, I said, guys, if you could sum up the Chiefs in one word when it comes to their success, if you can sum up their success in just one word, what would it be for the year of 2024, for the 2023-2024 season? What would that be? I got some interesting responses. I got some people that are hating on the Chiefs, giving some interesting responses there, so I'm not going to read those. But the one that stood out to me was the word vigilante. And I like that one. And I'm going to put a different twist on that. I'm going to say anti-hero, maybe even villains, because they have become one of the most loved and hated teams in America at the same time. Certainly the added media attention from Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship, and all of the added fans, the millions of new fans that the NFL brought in from that relationship, the Swifties, whatever you want to call them, that's definitely played a factor in both the love and hatred of the Kansas City Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes even said that, leading up to the Super Bowl. He said, listen, I am embracing the role of the villain here. I'm embracing the bad guy role, and so is the rest of the team. If we're going to be the bad guys, if we're going to be the villains, so be it. But we're going to spoil everybody's story. We're going to spoil the good guy's story. We're going to win. The bad guys are going to win. So when I thought about how I wanted to structure this video and, break down the mindset of this team, I wanted to start there. Because I think a lot of times, especially athletes, they want to be liked. They want to be beloved by their fans. People don't like hearing negative things about them. Even regular, ordinary people that are not, playing professional sports for a living. Everyday people like you and I, we don't like criticism, right? We don't like people talking shit about us and saying negative things about us. And sometimes we can allow that to, dictate our mood, dictate our day, dictate the result of whatever it is we're competing in or doing, Oftentimes we can also allow subconsciously those negative thoughts. We can start believing what the naysayers are saying about us. And that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. When you start believing, the criticism, your actions, subconsciously, you're going to start performing to what those people are saying about you rather than performing to what you're capable of doing. So when I talk about the Kansas City Chiefs embracing the role of the anti-hero or the villain or vigilante, whatever you want to call it, that right there might have been the most important mindset technique that they applied collectively as a team just this last season. To be able to say, fuck the critics, fuck the haters, we're staying true to what we know we can do and press forward and persevere even in moments of adversity. And you got to remember, there was a point in the season where people were starting to say that the Chiefs might not even make the playoffs. If you remember that, I think it was October, November, when they were losing some games to some teams that they should have been losing to. They did not have the best record in the regular season at the time. And a lot of folks were saying, man, the Chiefs might not even make the postseason this year. How did that turn out? So they stayed true to what they believed. They embraced the hate. They embraced that role of the villains. And I think it helped take their game to that next level. We all have haters in our lives. In a perfect world, everybody would love you. Everybody would be singing your praises. Everybody would be saying all these nice things about you. But honestly, you don't want that. You don't want that. You want haters. You want people to try to belittle you, to try to hold you down, to throw insults at you. You want that because it's going to give you the edge. If you respond the same way that the Kansas City Chiefs responded to their haters. So the next time somebody is trying to put you down, somebody's trying to maybe bully you, maybe tell you that you're not good enough, that you suck, because they're going to nitpick little things about you. If they don't like you, they're going to nitpick the smallest of details and try to put you down. And the worst thing you can try to do is ignore it. That's the worst advice when somebody says, "Oh, just ignore them." Just ignore. Remember when you were a kid and you were getting bullied at school, and the teachers or your parents would just say, "Oh, just ignore them, honey. Just ignore them." Worst advice you can do. I want you to keep that in your mind. I don't want you to ignore what they're saying. I want you to use it as fuel to the fire to prove those motherfuckers wrong. Prove them wrong. Use it as that little bit of extra to push yourself harder in the weight room or harder at practice or harder when you're studying, whatever it is that you do, whatever your goal is. Use that to push forward and persevere and embrace that role. You don't like me? Great. I love it. I love it. Just keep on hating. Just keep on hating. You're going to hate me even more when I beat you. You're going to hate me even more when I win. So think about that next time somebody is talking shit about you. Use it as an opportunity. Think about it as a privilege. Think about it as a very, very good thing. Because if all anybody ever did was tell you how great you were, you would never grow. You would never have any growth in your life. Negative criticism is a very, very good thing, but you got to respond the right way. You got to respond the right way. Another thing that I want to talk about with these Kansas City Chiefs from a mentality frame of mind is how they were able to unleash their dark side. And what I mean by that is, listen, everybody has a dark side. You, me, we all have that within ourselves. And you can either allow that dark side to control you and take you down a bad path, or you can control that dark side and channel it towards something productive, in this case, winning the Super Bowl, and bringing forth that energy in a way that is going to not harm you, but harm your enemies, harm your opposition. Tim Grover, I mentioned him a lot on this channel. Tim Grover was a mental health coach that has worked with some of the best players in the history of the NBA, in the history of basketball. Most notably worked with Michael Jordan. And he wrote a lot of books about his experiences working with these world-class athletes. And he said a common theme that he noticed and pointed out with every single one of them, from MJ to Kobe Bryant to Dwayne Wade, all these guys, they had a dark side. And that's what made them one of the greatest of all time at their craft, because it was their ability to channel that dark side. Travis Kelce gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of flack. I gave him a little bit of shit myself on social media. Wasn't a big fan of how he was yelling at Andy Reid in that game, in that Super Bowl game. Did not like that. And I voiced my opinion about that on Facebook. But after I sat there and thought about it and reflected on it, that is what makes Travis Kelce great. It's that dark side. It's that intensity. And Andy Reid is such a great coach. He recognized that afterwards. He said, listen, I didn't take any offense to that. Travis is a gamer. Travis is a competitor. He wants to just be out there and help his team. And that's what that was all about. And you want that. You want that intensity. Maybe not in that way of getting in your coach's face and throwing a temper tantrum. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I kind of understand it now. It's that dark side. Everybody is addicted to something. Everybody. And the very best athletes in the world and the most successful people in the world are addicted to winning. And Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, the entire Kansas City Chiefs, they are addicted to winning. And that is their dark side. And that is what makes these teams, that's what builds dynasties. An addiction to greatness. Channeling the dark side and unleashing it in a way that is going to strike fear into their enemies. So how can you apply that? How can you levy your dark side in a way that is going to make you successful? Well, I mentioned that everybody's addicted to something. Some of us, most everyday people are addicted to something that is not good for us. Whether that is a poor diet, social media, doom scrolling, pornography, whatever it is. We're all addicted to something that is not going to really benefit us in any constructive way. The key secret in success is swapping out one addiction for another. And the reason why I call that a dark side, because you might be thinking, well, how is that a bad thing to become addicted to winning or become addicted to success? Well, the unfortunate nature of that is that sometimes you're going to be a little selfish. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice a lot of things in your life to get after your goals, to get after your dreams, to unleash greatness. So that is what I mean by a dark side. And you got to swap out one addiction for another. I'll use myself as an example. When I would come home from work, the last thing I wanted to do was work. You know what I mean? I wanted to come home, watch TV, doom scroll on social media, put Netflix on, like the average everyday person, right? Work a 9 to 5 and then come home and then just kind of relax, right? Because I thought that I earned that. And that was not constructive. My goal, my dream of becoming one of the top content creators in the sports psychology realm, to build this huge community, to inspire and elevate millions of people, I was never going to get there if I continued to stay on the path that I was going. So I swapped out one addiction for another, and now I am absolutely addicted to building that community, to reaching that audience. And whether I get a couple of views on a video or I get thousands of views on a video, I'm going to stay consistent, and I'm going to come home every single day and work at that goal. Swap out one addiction for another. Unleash that dark side. But you know what? Hey, that means missing out on a lot of, social get-togethers, skipping out on some parties, not dating as much as I used to. Because I'm all in on my goal. I'm all in on where I want to go. And that's a dark side. But I'm going to use that in a constructive way to get to where I want to go. Where do you want to go in life? What is your goal? What is your dream? Are you working at that on a consistent daily basis? If the answer to that is no, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. Unleash the dark side. The next thing that I want to unpack with the Kansas City Chiefs and their winning mindset and culture is how every single member of that organization from top down stays true to their mission and vision. And I'm going to read you their mission statement because it's pretty powerful and it's very clear, concise, and something that when you tell a new member of that organization, like, hey, here is what we're all about, it is something that can be easily understood from the youngest member of the team to the top veteran. And their mission statement reads as this: the entire Chiefs family operates with 4 core values as part of its mission. Win with character, unite our community, inspire our fans, and honor tradition. When I talk about the importance of a mission statement, you got to let your folks know the why. If they don't know why they're here, if they don't know why they are part of this team or where this team intends to go, you're going to have a culture of confusion, a culture of just guys that are in it for themselves and individually going after their individual goals, but they don't know where the team is. They don't know where the team is going. What is our mission? What is our vision? Well, the Chiefs' vision is be the best franchise in the history of the NFL. Build a dynasty that will be talked about for generations. And they're on pace of doing that right now. If you are leading a team, if you are, you got a business, you own a business, or you are even a manager of a small team, what is your mission and what is your vision? And if you don't have one, you're doing it wrong. You need to be able to tell your people where we're going right now, the mission, and what we intend to accomplish in the future, which is the vision. And then you got to hold them accountable each and every single day to those 2 statements, to the mission and vision statement. The Kansas City Chiefs, I think, do that better than any organization in sports right now. And that is why their culture is, they got that winning culture that just can't, a lot of GMs will try to sign the best players. You see this in baseball all the time. They'll throw all this money at the best individual players, but that does not guarantee a championship because you got to build a culture and you got to build a cohesive unit, a team that's going to come together collectively to achieve that vision. So I really, really love what the Chiefs are doing in regard to that. And you got to give a lot of credit to Andy Reid and the upper management, but Andy Reid in specifically as the coach, as the head coach. He's just, great leader, brings his guys together, allows them to be themselves, but also holds them accountable on and off the field, and reminds them, like, hey guys, this is what we're here to do. This is where we're going. and will push each and every single one of them in practice, in the game, to accomplish that goal. The last thing I'll leave you here when it comes to, what makes the Kansas City Chiefs this winning dynasty is their ability to stay calm under pressure, to be able to go through adversity. I mean, we saw it in that Super Bowl. The Niners had that game won for a large part of that game. I mean, it was to the point where I was watching that game with a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans, and they looked like, they didn't give up hope, but you could tell frustration was running wild in that house. The Niners fans, because I was watching it with some Niners fans too, and they thought the game was won up until the end. You can never think the game is won when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's their way to perform under pressure. Patrick Mahomes does it best, man. This guy, this is why he is so damn good. He is in that God mode status as a quarterback because he doesn't wilt under pressure. It'd be real easy to allow, your skill set and your technique to falter when you're losing, when the clock is ticking and you're running out of time, and you can allow yourself to get sloppy and throw these horrible passes, overthrow your passes, or, freeze up in the pressure. These guys don't do that. They don't. They find a way to win. They always find a way to win, and they don't give up hope. They never give up hope, and that is what we saw down to the wire. Super Bowl 58, the Kansas City Chiefs come back to win their second consecutive championship, third Super Bowl win in the last 4 years. And they did it because they came through under pressure. All of us face these moments. We don't play professional sports, right? But we face adversity. We're in these high pressure moments every single day in our daily lives, in our jobs, right? And sometimes we get into that flight or fight mode, and we wilt under the pressure and our anxiety. We let our anxiety take control of our subconscious mind, and we forget how to do our jobs. We forget how to play. The Kansas City Chiefs know how to stay calm under pressure. And, listen, I would be willing to bet, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'd be willing to bet that a lot of them meditate. A lot of them do some form of mindfulness, some form of conscious mindfulness to get in the present moment, block out all of that anxiety, block out, the fear of losing, and just be able to perform. So that right there is the biggest thing you can take from this video. You have to get yourself dialed into the present moment. I like to meditate, and I know that sounds ridiculous if you've never done it before. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when our minds are racing a mile a minute. It can be very difficult to sit down and just be in silence for 10, 20 minutes or even longer than that. But it is so effective because it teaches you how to get out of that flight or fight, to get out of your monkey brain and take control of your subconscious brain and just perform, just play. So whether you find that through meditation or just some form of conscious mindfulness, it's important. And if you're not doing that every single day, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Because when you get in those moments, when you get in those high pressure situations, you're going to, more often than not, allow the flight or fight to kick in, allow the anxiety to build up, and you're not going to be able to perform. So I challenge you to either meditate or find some way to get into the present moment. There's other ways of doing it. You don't necessarily have to sit down and meditate for hours and hours or multiple minutes, but that's what I like to do, and that's what some of the best athletes in the world do on a consistent basis. Phil Jackson, who is a legendary NBA coach, he introduced meditation to all of the teams that he coached, the Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers, and that was a key factor in those teams winning multiple NBA championships. So like I said, I don't know for a fact if the Kansas City Chiefs meditate, but I would be willing to bet that they do. Or at least I'd be willing to bet Patrick Mahomes does. I guarantee you Patrick Mahomes meditates. So folks, that is my take on the winning mindset of the Kansas City Chiefs and how you can apply some of those same mindset principles into your own lives to take your game to the next level. One thing I want to touch on before I wrap this up, I want to express my sincere, heartfelt thoughts to all those that were affected in the heinous, disgusting shooting that occurred at Kansas City in the Chiefs Super Bowl celebration parade. I'm having a hard time coming up with the words for this. It's just, the world is a sick place. The world is a sick place, and we can't even, we're to the point now that we can't even go out and enjoy ourselves without the fear of something like that happening. These people were out there just celebrating their team, celebrating their hometown team winning another Super Bowl. The last thing on their mind is that they're going to get shot. So I cannot even, again, I'm having a hard time delivering this message, but I wanted to address it. Life is short. Life can suck. And there are some really disgusting, horrible people out there. But hopefully that doesn't deter you to enjoy yourself. Hopefully that doesn't deter you to live life, embrace life, own your life, and live in the moment and have fun. And, we got to be careful. We got to have situational awareness. We got to watch our six. But it just really fucking sucks that there are people in this world. And I'm not going to say, I'm not one of these gun control type of people. Most people that I know that are gun owners are very good people, are very safe with their weapons. These are sick people that are doing these things, and it has nothing to do with the gun itself. With the weapon, they're going to find ways to do this regardless. You ban guns, they're going to get a knife out. They're going to do whatever. There's just sick people out there. We got a mental health crisis in this country, and it has not been addressed because our politicians want to sit there and blame it on a weapon. It is the mental health crisis that we need to look at. What is going wrong in this country? What are we teaching our children in school? What kind of values are we not instilling in them that is allowing people to think that this is an okay way to act? I'm going off on a tangent. I'm getting a little bit fired up. I'm getting a little emotional, but I did want to say that. I did want to address that. But anyway, guys, I hope you got a lot out of this video. Listen, again, I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but hey, they keep winning. And I know, the haters are going to keep hating. They're going to keep hating. I appreciate what they're doing. I love seeing winners win. I just hope my New York Jets can get there eventually. Hopefully, listen, maybe we get Aaron Rodgers back. He's got maybe one more year left in him. Maybe we get the best out of him. But anyway, guys, until next time, let's unleash greatness. Boom!